Dieptio, have you actually lost your mind and gone completely insane?
After hanging up, Chungbok finally snaps out of his absolute shock. He grabs my arm with one hand, shaking it hard, and yells out that Long Shuang is a ruthless demon who kills without batting an eye.
You actually made that kind of demand to her? She is going to kill you. She will seriously end your life.
I brush his hand off, my voice completely certain. She will absolutely not do that. Why? Because she is a businesswoman. And on top of that, she is a remarkably smart one. I look out the window at the packed streets with endless traffic and slowly explain that merchants always chase pure profit. For me, marrying her is the absolute cruelest way to get revenge on Liu Nuyin and the fastest way to gain the capital to fight the Liu family. And for her, marrying me is not merely about securing that Starlight fighter jet technology. It is actually about getting me as a person. A person who can create the Starlight, and that value is far higher than the tech itself. She is strapping me firmly to her own war chariot.
This is way more solid than some basic equity deal. Now watch how this plays out. This is a massive gamble, a real trade. We are both betting heavily on how much profit the other side can bring in. As for actual feelings, I just let out a self-deprecating laugh.
I really do not need that kind of stuff anymore. Chungbok just stares blankly. He realizes that overnight, I seemingly transformed from a completely naive tech guy who knew nothing about the world into a deeply scheming demon who calculates everything without a single mistake.
This major shift makes him feel incredibly alienated, bringing up some unexplained fear. He blurts out that this whole thing is way too risky.
I cut him right off, asking how we can win without risk. Right now, I have nothing but my worthless life left, so I can definitely bet it.
For the next 3 entire days, I go absolutely nowhere, just staying inside Chungbok's cramped little rental room. I turn off my phone, completely cutting all my contact with the outside world. I am just waiting for Long Shuang to answer. These 3 days bring an earth-shattering change to the outside world. The incident of the Starlight jet exploding high up in the air continues to severely escalate. The official investigation results from the Security Bureau finally drop fast.
Exactly as I had firmly predicted, the core materials of the jet actually contained unknown structural defects that led to total disintegration in extreme environments. It gets officially classified as a highly unfortunate, completely unexpected, tragic accident.
This result makes both the Liu family and the Go family breathe a sigh of relief.
But right after that, an even bigger storm hits. The Ko family dumps all their agonizing pain of losing a son into pure rage against the Liu family. They firmly believe that the Liu family deliberately hid the grim reality of the jet's instability just to suck up to Go Yin, directly causing this awful tragedy.
A totally unhinged revenge campaign targets the Liu group, severely bombing their stock market, ruthlessly stealing their projects, and launching massive public opinion attacks.
The Go family mobilizes every single force they have, acting just like a wounded beast, violently tearing into the Liu family.
The Liu family was already severely weakened by the massive losses from the Starlight project, and now facing a full-blown war from the Ku family.
They instantly fall into critical danger. Their stocks plummet for 3 straight days, and Liu Nuyin becomes the ultimate meat shield for absolutely everyone. Everyone violently curses her as a deeply cursed woman, saying she killed someone just by sucking up to her new lover.
And completely dragged her family down too. She went from being this high and mighty proud daughter to a cornered street rat, getting chased and beaten in just one single night.
Word is, she locked herself inside her room, totally refusing to step outside for 3 full days and nights. Her mind is basically shattering. All of this was completely within my expectations, but just this alone is still nowhere near enough to satisfy me. What I truly want is to leave them absolutely empty-handed. On the 3rd afternoon, the doorbell rings, and Chungbok anxiously runs over to open it. 2 men in black suits and dark sunglasses stand right outside. They ask if Mr. Dieptio is here, stating that their boss wants to see him. I step out and tell them to lead the way. Now here is where the tension spikes. I get taken to a secret private club, meeting Long Shuang in the rooftop tea room. She is wearing this perfectly tailored long white dress, with her long hair just casually draped over her shoulders. Zero makeup. but she looks so breathtakingly beautiful. It shakes you.
She just sits there quietly, holding a pure cup of tea, yet radiating this incredibly intense aura that absolutely terrifies strangers from approaching. She slightly tilts her chin up, gesturing to the seat right across from her. I sit down and pour myself a fresh cup of tea. I ask her what she decided, cutting straight to the absolute core issue.
Lang Sương set her cup down, her phoenix eyes narrowing slightly, with a sharp gaze that almost pierced right through me. She tells me my guts are way bigger than she imagined.
She says men begging to marry her in Haitang line up completely across the city.
They bring mountains of gold and silver, trying to flatter her in every possible way, and she does not even glance at them. She demands to know why a totally broke guy with a murder suspicion, looking like a homeless dog, actually thinks she would ever agree to this. Her voice is incredibly cold. It carries this absolutely raw, completely unconcealed mockery. I do not get angered by her harsh words. I just calmly look at her. I say it is purely because I am Diep Tio. Based on the fact that I am the only one in this world who can launch her into the sky. Based on the fact that our alliance can crush all the current rules beneath our feet. Long Shuren falls completely silent. She just fiercely stares at me for half a minute, and then suddenly bursts out laughing. Her smile is like melting ice and blooming poppies all at once, carrying this insanely dangerous kind of charm. Diaktil, she says, "You're quite interesting." She pulls 2 documents straight out of her bag and pushes them right in front of me. This is the prenuptial agreement, she tells me. Take a look. My assets have absolutely nothing to do with you. We are strictly a business partnership, each of us just taking exactly what we need. These are the registration papers for our brand new company, Longvan. You take 51% of the shares, stepping in as CEO and Chief Technical Officer with 100 billion in startup capital. We can always add more funds later. You just have this one mission. Within 12 months, I want to see Longvan #1 soar high. I grab that prenup, not even bothering to glance at the terms, and just sign my name directly on it before sliding it right back to her. I have my own condition too. I tell her, our marriage has to be announced to the entire city. I want a wedding 100 times grander than Liu Yin's engagement party. Hearing this, Lang Sung slightly furrows her brows. Are you trying to use me to provoke Liu Yin? I shake my head. No, I just want to tell absolutely everyone that I, Diep Tio, have finally returned. I want those exact people who looked down on me and trampled me to open their eyes really wide. The dog in their eyes has now become their absolute master. Lang Soren looks at me, a highly complex glint flashing through her gaze for just a second. Eventually, she nods. Fine. Meet me at the Civil Affairs Bureau entrance tomorrow at exactly 9 a.m. Saying that, she stands up and turns to leave, not dragging things out for even a second. From start to finish, our entire conversation takes no more than 10 minutes, but those exact 10 minutes end up deciding the entire business board of Haitang for the next few decades, completely reshaping the fates of countless people. The very next morning, I show up right on time at the bureau entrance. Lang Soon's car pulls up right then too. Today, she is wearing a simple white shirt and regular jeans, making her look pretty much like any totally average college student out there. We did not bring any followers along, walking into the Civil Affairs Bureau just like the most ordinary couple you could ever find. Taking pictures, signing names, stamping documents. It takes under 15 minutes before 2 red booklets are officially handed right over to us. Stepping out of the bureau, the sunlight feels a bit blinding. I stare down at the marriage certificate in my hands. In the photo, Lang Soong looks completely expressionless, while I have this somewhat awkward, stiff smile. It feels incredibly absurd, yet very real. Right now, we are actually husband and wife.
Lang Soong breaks the silence first. That is right, Boss Lang. I nod. Just call me Lang Soong, she fires back. Or call me your wife.
She looks at me, a meaningful smile tugging at her lips. All right then, Boss Lang. I correct myself, Lang Soong. She seems slightly choked up by my quick response, then helplessly shakes her head. Get in the car, she says. I am taking you to the company. The main headquarters of Longvan Technology is located in the absolute most premium office building in Haitang. All 3 entire floors have been exclusively booked by Longsheng. When I step into that massive workspace, roughly the size of a football field, Trung-bak is already there, leading a dedicated team of nearly 100 people waiting for me.
Check this out. These people are all top-tier aviation talents, the exact crew I have been secretly observing and heavily recruiting over the past few years.
Some are brilliant engineers who just never caught a lucky break. Others are highly skilled technicians who got unfairly pushed around by massive corporations.
They all share one specific thing in common. They are overflowing with frustration and deep disappointment toward the current rigid, inflexible aviation system. And I am about to hand them a completely brand new platform where they can finally unleash their raw talents without any limits.
Boss! Seeing me walk in, every single person in the room excitedly jumps to their feet.
I give a nod, walking straight to the very front. Welcome, everyone, to Longvan.
I promise you all, right here and now, there is no pulling rank based on seniority here, and absolutely zero toxic office politics. And there definitely will not be any clueless outsiders trying to boss the experts around. The only thing you guys need to do is pour out all your true skills. Follow me to forge an entire era that belongs strictly to us. We have only one clear goal.
I turn around, pointing my finger straight out at the deep blue sky past the window. Conquer it. A blazing, passionate fire immediately ignites inside everyone's eyes.
That is the raw passion and dreams they suppressed for way too long, finally getting released. Right at that exact moment, my phone starts ringing with an unknown number.
I answer it. A weak, trembling female voice comes through from the other end. Diptio, is that you? It is Leo Nu Ian.
Her tone does not carry even a tiny trace of her old arrogance anymore, leaving behind only pure exhaustion and endless pleading. It is me, she says.
Diệp Tiêu, I am begging you. Please just let the Liu family go. We were completely wrong. I truly know I was wrong. Just spare me, and I will do literally whatever you want.
She starts crying her eyes out, sounding absolutely miserable. I do not say a single word back to her, just quietly listening, before calmly putting the phone on speaker.
Miss Liu, you have called the wrong number. A crisp, cold female voice echoes through the phone, perfectly clear.
It is Lang Soong. I have no idea when she even walked up beside me, but she naturally hooks her arm through mine, speaking to the phone word by word.
Oh, listen to this. My husband is very busy right now, she says. No time to deal with your family's actual garbage.
If you have any final messages to leave behind, you can just tell my lawyers.
Oh, right. Forgot to introduce myself. I am Lang Soong, Yip Tio's wife. The other end of the line instantly drops into absolute heavy silence.
I can easily picture exactly what kind of face Leo Nu Yin is making right now. Entirely desperate, deeply shocked, or just completely broken. Honestly, I do not even care anymore.
Lang Soong hangs up the phone and just hands her device straight to me. On the screen is a brand new WBO status she just posted, just one picture and a single line of text.
The picture is our official marriage certificate, and the caption attached to it is even simpler than that. My man. 2 short words, but they hit harder and feel way more dominant than any grand declaration could. Within minutes, this post climbed straight to the #1 trending spot, making the entire city of Haitang completely explode with shock. People are screaming, Diep Tio and Long Soong are married? What kind of insane joke is this? That broke guy dumped by the Liu family actually married the absolute queen of the business world? This world has gone totally crazy. Liu Nu Yin just kicked him out, and he immediately climbs up a branch 100 times stronger than the Liu family. Why do I get the feeling there is some massive, shocking conspiracy hidden behind all this? A fierce, massive debate absolutely erupts all over the internet. Every single person out there is completely stunned by this earth-shattering news. The moment the market opens, Liu family stocks plummet straight to the floor. Countless investors are left crying in absolute despair. Meanwhile, back at the Liu family mansion, the atmosphere is incredibly bleak and totally lifeless. Liu Nu Yin sits slumped on the floor, hand still gripping her disconnected phone, her eyes completely empty, like her soul just left her body.
Lang Soong là Diệp Tiêu squash.
She mutters this to herself over and over again, her face full of absolute disbelief.
How is this even possible? This was the man who used to obey her every word, coming and going exactly as she commanded.
The guy she honestly thought she could just mold and crush like a soft persimmon anytime she wanted.
Just think about how wild this is for a second. How did he get involved with Lang Soon? Jealousy, heavy regret, and fear start gnawing at her heart like venomous snakes.
She suddenly remembers the freezing cold look in Diopteel's eyes when he tore up that check right at the engagement party.
She remembers that strange little smile on his lips when the plane blew up. She remembers his terrifyingly calm back as the security bureau hauled him away.
It turns out he had everything perfectly arranged right from the start. He was never falling apart. He was launching a massive counterattack.
And she was just jumping around like an absolute clown the entire time, getting played like a toy, spinning right in the palm of his hand.
Smack! A sharp, echoing slap lands right across her face. Father Leo points a finger straight at her nose, shaking uncontrollably from pure anger.
"You ungrateful girl," he yells. "Just look at the amazing mess you made. You have completely destroyed every last ounce of the Leo family's reputation."
Great job. Now Diopteo has Lang Seong backing him up, and those two teaming up means they want to absolutely ruin us.
Mother Leo collapses onto the sofa, beating her chest in frustration. "I told you so early on," she cries. "That Diopteo kid was never just some nobody."
"I told you to treat him well, but you refused to listen. You just had to get tangled up with that Go Zian. Now look, you have dragged our entire family into this miserable disaster." Facing this heavy criticism from her parents, Liu Nuyin cannot force out a single word.
She just feels the whole room spinning, her entire world collapsing right around her. She lost. A crushing defeat. She didn't just lose Diopteo forever. She also completely lost Go Zian.
And now, even the proud family background she flaunted the most is about to turn into smoke. No, it absolutely cannot end like this. She suddenly jumps to her feet, a flash of pure madness appearing in her eyes. "Diopteo loves me," she thinks. "He is definitely just doing this to get my attention. He just wants me to regret it, wants me to go beg him on my knees. Yes, that absolutely has to be it."
Acting like she just found her very last lifeline, she completely loses it and rushes out the door. "I have to find him," she yells. "I have to win him back."
However, she cannot even get past the front doors of Long Van Tech. "We are sorry, Miss Liu," the guards say.
Without an appointment, you cannot go inside. Two expressionless security guards block her path completely. "Get out of my way," she screams. "Do you even know who I am? I am the former fiancé of your boss, Diopteo."
Liu Nuyin shrieks at the top of her lungs. "All we know is that right now you have absolutely zero connection to our boss anymore." The security guard's tone is just dripping with pure, heavy contempt.
Tell Diopteo to come out here and see me. You tell him if he doesn't see me, I am never leaving this spot. Liu Nuyin starts throwing a massive fit, trying to cause a huge scene.
But this happens to be the most high-end office building in all of Haiteng.
Every single person walking by is a top-tier elite. They just shoot her one cold glance and hurry right past. Absolutely nobody wants to stop and watch some crazy woman putting on a dramatic show.
Right when Liu Nuyin is crying and throwing her tantrum to the point of total desperation, a sleek black Rolls-Royce slowly pulls up to the front entrance.
The car door swings open, and Long Soon steps out.
Now this is a real boss walk. She is rocking a razor-sharp business suit, hair pinned high, dominating the space. She spots Liu Nuyin throwing a fit in the lobby, eyebrows raised slightly. What an ugly sight.
She parts her red lips and softly drops just 3 little words.
The volume is not loud at all, but it strikes right into Liu Nuyin's heart like a massive, heavy bell.
Liu Nuyin's loud screaming abruptly stops. She just stares blankly at Lang Seong, totally frozen, like someone is violently choking her throat. Lang Seong doesn't even bother giving her a single extra glance, walking straight toward the VIP elevators.
"Boss Lang." Liu Nuyin suddenly snaps out of it, lunging forward trying to grab onto her.
"You give Diopteo back to me right now. He belongs to me." Lang Seong's 2 bodyguards instantly step up, pinning her down hard. "Miss Leo," they warn her,
Please have some self-respect.
Lang Seung completely stops walking. She slowly turns around, looking down from high above at a restrained Liễu Như Yên, who is rapidly spiraling into total madness.
Lang Seung lets out a soft laugh, completely intimate. You threw him away exactly like trash with your own two hands, she says.
Now I picked him up, wiped him completely clean, and put him on display. And suddenly you think he is a treasure.
Liễu Như Yên, so you honestly believe this entire world is supposed to just revolve around you? Maybe it did before, but definitely not anymore.
The exact moment you decided to give Starfire away to someone else, nothing but pure hatred was left between you and Dioptil.
And my absolute favorite thing to do is helping my own people get their revenge. With that said, she completely ignores Liu Nyuin, turns around, and steps right into the elevator.
The elevator doors slide shut, completely blocking out Liu Nyuyen's twisted face of pure despair.
Liễu Như Yên lets out a miserable scream, break down completely. Later, when Lang Seung drops by my office, I am in a meeting with the tech team.
The design plan for Longvun 1 already has a rough shape. It is going to be lighter, faster, and way smarter than Starfire.
This will be a massive breakthrough product, completely capable of changing the entire future of aerial combat.
Lang Seung does not interrupt us at all. She just sits quietly on the side, listening to us discuss technical terms that she totally does not understand.
But her eyes stay totally fixed on me the entire time, carrying this hint of scrutiny.
And a hint of sheer appreciation. Once the meeting wraps up, everyone heads out, leaving just the two of us alone in the office.
So the crazy dog downstairs is dealt with? Lang Seung picks up a coffee cup from the desk and takes a sip. Thanks, I nod. No need to thank me. I am your wife now, after all. She sets the coffee cup right back down and walks straight over to my side.
Your former fiancée looks like she is completely losing her mind out there. I tell her, she just cannot accept the fact that she went from being the hunter to the prey.
I look out the window, speaking pretty calmly. What about you? Lang Seung suddenly leans in close, her warm breath brushing right against my ear.
Are you my prey right now? I turn my head back, and suddenly our faces are just a few centimeters apart. I can clearly see her long eyelashes and that super cunning smile hiding deep in her eyes.
President Long, we are strictly partners, I remind her, just partners at the company. But what about when we are at home? She lightly trails one single finger right across my throat. We are legally married, after all. My entire body stiffens up for just a brief second.
This woman is exactly like a cat, highly elegant, but incredibly dangerous, constantly and effortlessly playing with your nerves. President Lang, I have absolutely no interest in any kind of office romance.
I take a firm step back to put some distance between us. Is that so? Lang Seung really does not mind at all. She pulls her hand back and smiles. What a real pity then.
Right, there is something I completely forgot to tell you. What is it?
The old man of the Go family had a sudden heart attack last night and is in the ICU. Doctors say surviving depends on these next few days. My mind jolts.
He is the absolute pillar of the Ko family. If he actually falls, their whole family is completely finished. And there is more.
Lang Seung just keeps talking, and this is where the plot really thickens. The Ko family dumped all their bitter resentment directly onto the Liu family, bribing several inside agents for a Starfire system lock.
Even though that log is completely fake, they hired some of the absolute best experts in the world to analyze it, and they found something pretty interesting.
What exactly, I press her? They realized the program that caused that entire plane disintegration was written way too perfectly. So totally flawless that it does not even look like an accident. It looks exactly like a meticulously designed art performance. She looks right at me, her lips curling up into a very meaningful smile.
They suspect someone is manipulating everything from the shadows. Right now, they formed a private investigation team, literally scouring the entire globe to find a top-tier hacker capable of writing this kind of perfect program.
Tell me, what happens if they actually manage to find him?
A layer of cold sweat immediately breaks out across my back. I calculated thousands of scenarios, but I somehow missed one tiny detail.
My work was way too perfect, so flawless that it actually sparked their suspicion. You mean they are going to track me down? I say.
Shaking her head, Lang Seung says they will not track me down because she already went ahead and found a perfect scapegoat for me. A scapegoat? I frown, not quite understanding her real meaning.
Walking over to the desk, she turns on the laptop and pulls up a new document. Get to know him a bit. Phantom.
A photo of a guy around 30 appears on screen. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and carrying this incredibly arrogant vibe. Codename Phantom. A top hacker ranked in the global top 3. He is a freelancer who does absolutely anything for money. And his biggest specialty is staging all kinds of accidents.
Lang Seung scrolls the mouse and watch this. Một whole series những tình cảnh sốc áp.
A certain foreign politician's private jet going down in a very weird crash. A multinational CEO's massive luxury yacht blowing up in a completely mysterious explosion. A major bank system getting totally hacked, making billions of dollars just vanish into thin air. Phantom's traces are behind all of these cases, but he acts exactly like a true ghost. Coming and going without a single trace. Never once getting caught by any national security agency in the entire world. So you mean, I vaguely start to guess her crazy plan. That is exactly right, Lang Seung nods. Half an hour ago, I used a middleman to pay $100 million to hire Phantom. I gave him one simple mission: take the blame for the Starfire incident. I am so completely stunned by Lang Seung's massive spending and totally insane plan that I cannot even speak a single word. Spending $100 million just to hire a hacker to take the blame sounds like an absolute fairy tale. Would he actually agree to this? Oh, he will agree. Lang Seung says this with absolute certainty because she also gave him a very special gift that he simply cannot turn down. She then pulls up another completely different file on screen. It is a detailed bank transfer record showing that an anonymous overseas account had quietly wired a massive sum of $50 million directly into the Phantom's personal bank account exactly 3 days before the whole Starfire incident even happened. This money supposedly came straight from the Ko family's biggest rival, who happens to be a very powerful Middle Eastern oil tycoon. Of course, I forged this entire transfer record. Lang Seung drops this line so casually, acting as if she is just talking about some completely trivial everyday matter. Right now, the Phantom has 2 choices. Option 1 is taking my $100 million. And then publicly admitting that he took a commission from that oil tycoon to intentionally cause the whole Starfire incident. That way, he not only gets a massive payday, but also shifts all of the Ko family's intense anger onto the oil tycoon, while he himself gets to walk away completely free and clear. Option 2 is he refuses me. If he does that, this forged transfer record magically appears right on the Ko family investigation team's desk. At that point, he will have to face endless hunting from both the Ko family and the oil tycoon. So tell me, how do you think he is going to choose? I look at Lang Seung, feeling a cold chill shoot straight from my feet all the way to my head. This woman is seriously terrifying. Her mind and plotting methods are truly so incredibly airtight that they actually make people shiver in fear. She did not just find a perfect scapegoat for me, but she also smoothly shifted all of the Ko family's hatred right onto their business rival, effortlessly sparking a brand new war. Hitting 3 targets with 1 arrow while she hides behind the curtain from start to finish without getting a single speck of dust on her. Do you still feel like marrying me was a bad deal? I look into those intense eyes of hers that seem capable of seeing right through everything, shaking my head with a bitter smile. I am the lucky one here.
Lang Seung smiles with total satisfaction. Glad you know that.
So, put away all those useless petty thoughts of yours and just focus entirely on perfectly developing your Longvan #1 project.
I will handle clearing out every single obstacle for you, while you are responsible for bringing a massive victory to me. Over the next few days, absolutely everything plays out exactly according to Lang Seung's script. The Phantom actually posts a bold statement on the dark web, claiming full responsibility for the Starfire incident, while simultaneously publishing that cleverly faked hiring contract, supposedly coming straight from the Middle Eastern oil tycoon. The moment this news drops, it immediately creates a massive storm. The Ko family falls right into the trap, instantly pouring all of their firepower and heavy resources into a fierce cross-border trade war against that powerful oil tycoon.
With their biggest enemy distracted elsewhere, the Liu family finally gets a temporary chance to catch their breath.
But their situation really is not any better at all. Under Lang Soon's strict orders, all the businesses under the Thinthe Group launch an absolutely ruthless and coordinated attack aimed straight at the Liu family.
Banks calling in debts, suppliers cutting off goods, projects getting hijacked, and top talents getting poached away.
The once arrogant Liu Group now looks exactly like a giant sinking ship covered in massive holes, slowly going down into the deep water.
Meanwhile, I completely escaped this entire storm, suddenly becoming the most innocent victim in everyone's eyes. Everyone actually thinks the Phantom framed me too, and many people even feel sorry for my supposedly tragic fate. With absolutely no one suspecting me anymore, I can finally pour my entire heart and soul into the research and development of the Langvan No. 1 project, without distractions.
My dedicated team and I just stay locked inside the laboratory day and night, relentlessly grinding through countless complex calculations.
Running non-stop simulations, tearing things down and rebuilding them. Everyone acts like a tightly wound machine, crazily burning through their own energy and raw talent.
Because we all know that the thing we are creating is an unprecedented, absolute treasure.
Lang Seung also treats the company like home. She regularly works overtime with us late into the night.
Even though she completely does not understand those highly complex blueprints and technical data, she still kindly prepares midnight snacks and hot coffee for us, quietly sitting in a corner, handling her own personal business.
Sometimes I bump into her in the tea room. We just lean against the window together, quietly looking out at the city night view below.
Just chatting about totally random and meaningless little topics. From deep business models to art philosophy, and whether some random street restaurant's food is actually good or not, I slowly start to discover that this incredibly decisive, perfectly cold queen in the eyes of all the outsiders
actually has a very soft, girly side too. She absolutely loves watching romantic movies and secretly wiping away her tears over the dramatic plots.
She really likes sweet stuff, especially strawberry ice cream. She is also scared of thunder, wrapping herself tightly in blankets every stormy night while pretending to be perfectly calm.
A magical, unspoken understanding quietly forms between the two of us. We are husband and wife, and also comrades, yet not as intimate as normal couples. We admire each other, rely on each other, but we still maintain our own completely independent souls. This feeling is pretty comfortable. But wait for it. One day, an uninvited guest suddenly shows up and shatters this peace. That day, I am in the lab testing the new engine model. Troom Bok suddenly comes running in, looking totally panicked. Boss, this is bad. Liu Nguyen, What is she doing now? I frown, feeling quite a bit of annoyance bubbling up. She actually brought some guy with her to our company. She says she has something in her hands that you will definitely be very interested in. She told him that was his one and only weakness. I step right out of the lab, heading straight for the company's reception room.
Liu Như Yên là sitting right there on the sofa. She looks pretty haggard, my eyes flashing with this crazy all-or-nothing kind of madness.
Sitting right next to her is someone I never expected.
Go Zien. He's actually not dead. He looks like a complete mess, one arm strapped in a cast, a few scratches on his face, but he's sitting there, totally alive.
The second he spots me, Gozian's eyes just fill up with pure hatred. Dieptil, you didn't expect this, did you? I've got 9 lives. Your little fireworks show couldn't finish me off.
I'm honestly quite shocked. Nobody knows the sheer destructive power of that Phoenix command better than I do. For him to survive that? You've got to admit that's an absolute miracle.
Before the plane completely tore itself apart, the seat ejected me out. I crashed into the sea, and a random passing fishing boat actually saved my life.
Go Zien practically grinds his teeth as he speaks. I was in a coma for over half a month, just woke up a few days ago. First thing I did, track down Như Yên.
I told her straight up, that wasn't the work of some random hacker. That was all you. You're the despicable piece of trash pulling the strings from the shadows. I completely tune out his pathetic screaming, slowly shifting my gaze over to Liu Như Yên instead. Did you come find me just to say all this? Of course not, she snaps back. Liu Như Yên pulls this tiny voice recorder from her bag and drops it onto the table.
Dieptil,
You still remember this? My pupils instantly shrink for a split second.
That specific voice recorder was the very first gift I ever gave her. Back then, we hadn't even been together for that long. She claimed she loved hearing my stories about airplanes and the starry sky. Said my voice sounded so nice, she wanted to record it and listen every single night before bed. So I literally ran all over the city just to track down the newest recorder on the market to give to her. I genuinely thought it was a pure symbol of our love. I never expected it to turn into a weapon pointed right back at me. On the day of our engagement, after I made you storm off in a rage, I got worried you'd do something stupid, so I sent Trung Bak to find you.
Liu Nyu-yen just stares at me, a pretty cruel smile creeping across her face. But I couldn't exactly trust Junbak, could I?
He's your guy, after all, so I secretly slipped this little voice recorder right into his coat pocket, successfully capturing the entire private conversation between you and Tringbok in the break room.
Including the exact moment you claimed your stuff wouldn't be so easy to take. Including you ordering him to run that final system check. Hearing this, my heart just slowly sinks, bit by bit.
I really calculated every single detail, didn't I? But here's the catch. I completely underestimated just how deeply this woman, Liu Nyu-yen, had been scheming against me from the start.
Diệp Tiêu, the hard evidence is right here.
Go Zian lets out this incredibly smug laugh. Once I hand this recording over to the security bureau, do you really think they'll still buy that little accident story of yours?
You won't just face attempted murder charges. This precious Long Van tech company you built with Long Seung will instantly turn into an absolute joke.
That woman, Long Seung, might be brilliant, but there's no way she can protect a convicted murderer when the evidence is this rock solid.
They're honestly not wrong. This recording is absolute ironclad proof, completely enough to nail me right to the pillar of shame.
It's my one and only, truly fatal weakness. So what do you guys want? I take a really deep breath, desperately forcing myself to stay perfectly calm.
It's quite simple, really. Liu Nyu-yen finally speaks up, her voice just dripping with vengeful satisfaction. Number 1. Divorce Lang Seung, then drop to your knees and beg me to take you back. Number 2. Unconditionally transfer 51% of Lang Van's shares to me and Aizian. Number 3. You have to stand in front of the city's media, confess that you plotted against us, and literally bow your head in apology.
Pull off all 3 of those, and we might just consider leaving you a tiny way out.
She stares me down, her eyes completely full of this condescending charity, acting like I'm just some pitiful little toy she can manipulate however she wants. Looking at her face, literally twisted up with all that smug pride, I just find it totally ridiculous. I actually burst out laughing. What exactly are you laughing at? Liu Nyu-yen's face instantly darkens. I'm laughing because you're so incredibly naive. I just shake my head. Liu Nyu-yen, do you still not get it? You really think that little toy in your hand is my weakness? You're literally holding the exact key to open up the gates of hell. My words make both Liu Nyu-yen and Go Zian completely freeze up. They can't comprehend how I'm still keeping so calm at a time like this. Right on cue, the reception room doors swing open, and Lang Seung strolls right in. She casually glances at the voice recorder sitting on the table, then stares at Liu Nyu-yen and Go Zian. Zero surprise on her face whatsoever. Have you guys played enough? She asks, totally unfazed as she walks up beside me. Pretty much done, I nod. All right then, let's see these guests out. See the guests out? Ko Jian scoffs like he just heard the most ridiculous joke ever. Lang Seung, do you still not understand what's actually happening here? Your massive little weakness is sitting right in our hands. Weakness, you say.
Lang Seung lets out this soft laugh, pulling an absolutely identical voice recorder right out of her own pocket. Are you talking about this one?
She hits the play button. The exact same conversation between me and Trung Bak in the break room echoes out loud and clear, not a single word missing.
Liu Nyu-yen và Cố Diên đều instantly go pale. How is this even possible? Why does she have it?
Because from the exact moment you slipped that voice recorder into Trung Bak's pocket, I already knew. Lang Seung just looks at Liu Nyu-yen, her eyes full of sheer pity.
You really thought Trung Bak was genuinely working for you? No. From the very beginning, he was always my guy, planted right beside you.
Now watch this. Every single move you made has been under my absolute surveillance.
That completely includes your little trip to find Cozy Inn, and absolutely includes exactly how you two schemed to threaten my own husband. After he quietly copied the contents, he handed this exact voice recorder straight back to me. Liu Nuyin is completely stunned, looking at me and then back at Long Soon in absolute disbelief, stammering out, "You guys."
So that recording in your hand is basically not any kind of proof at all.
It is just a piece of bait I purposely let you take. Lang Soon steps right up to her and grabs the voice recorder off the table.
And the entire purpose of this bait was to make you willingly step right into the trap I had prepared just for you.
After saying that, she snaps her fingers toward the door. The guest room door gets pushed open once again. This time, a whole squad of police officers in uniform steps inside.
Leading them is that same middle-aged man who interrogated me before. Liu Yu Yen, Go Yen.
The middle-aged man pulls out a pair of handcuffs with a completely blank expression on his face. You are suspected of extortion and forging evidence to obstruct justice, so you are both officially under arrest right now.
No way! Liu Nuyin finally reacts, and she immediately starts struggling like absolute crazy.
We did not do it. Dieptio is the one who attempted murder. The recording is the proof. Proof, you say?
The middle-aged man gives a cold laugh. We already brought in an expert to evaluate it.
The audio track you provided shows very clear signs of editing and staging, which definitely classifies as forged evidence. As for Mr. Dieptio, he just glances right at the voice recorder in Long Soon's hand.
CEO Lang already handed the original recording over to me earlier, and we have fully listened to the contents inside.
Mr. Dieptio was merely saying a few angry words, without taking any kind of actual concrete action at all.
On the contrary, it is you guys who brought fake evidence to extort property from a real victim. Do you have anything else left to say?
Liu Nuyin and Go Yin's legs completely give out as they collapse onto the ground. They finally realized that, from start to finish, they were just two pawns on Lang Seung's chessboard.
Lang Seung had already predicted every single one of their actions early on, and she dug one inescapable trap after another that they simply could not get out of.
You know how this goes. They thought they were hunters, totally unaware they were the prey.
Take them away, the middle-aged man orders. Two officers step up and drag Liu Nuyin and Cozy Yen out while they slump over like total mud.
From beginning to end, I do not bother giving them even a single glance. Quietness returns to the guest room. I look at Long Soon, feeling quite a bit complicated.
Thank you. Thank me for what? Lang Seung playfully toys with the two voice recorders right in her hands.
Thank me for helping you fix the mess? Or thank me for calculating you right into the scheme too? I let out a really bitter smile. For both.
So, do you feel pretty scared of me right now? She leans in close, smiling just like a cat that successfully stole a heart. Just a little bit.
I am telling the truth. Being scared is the right response. She reaches out and adjusts my tie for me. Because you belong to me.
Anyone who dares to touch you, I will make sure they are completely ruined beyond repair. Her voice is very light, yet it carries an undeniable dominance that allows absolutely zero doubt. At that exact moment, my heart uncontrollably skips a tiny beat. The breaking news of Liu Nuyin and Cozy Yen getting arrested once again takes the entire Haiteng public by absolute storm.
This time, nobody feels any sympathy for them anymore. Extorting property and totally forging evidence. These charges are more than enough to ruin their reputations forever, rotting in a cell.
Because of this scandal, the Liu and Go families become complete laughingstocks in the business world. The old man of the Go family gets so choked up upon hearing the news that he passes away right on the spot.
Losing their main pillar, the Ko family quickly falls apart, getting completely devoured by all the bitter rivals they had previously offended without mercy.
As for the Liu family, after losing their Go family ally, they cannot even withstand the heavy attacks from the Fit Tay group.
In less than a single month, they officially declare complete bankruptcy and liquidation,
These two once glorious mega-families just exit the grand stage of history in an incredibly humiliating and pathetic way.
Meanwhile, Lung Sung and I, along with our amazing Lung Von technology, have easily become the absolute biggest winners here. After clearing away all the obstacles, the research for Lung Von #1 speeds straight on to the fast track. Thanks to the tireless efforts of me and the team, it only takes half a year for the very first prototype to successfully leave the factory.
Its entire body is pitch black with sleek lines packed with a sci-fi vibe, looking exactly like a phantom fighter jet straight from the future. It applies a completely brand new aerodynamic layout, and it is fully equipped with the powerful Tian Qing engine series we developed entirely ourselves, alongside a truly revolutionary and advanced artificial intelligence flight control system.
Its performance completely surpasses the Tinghua model, easily reaching an absolutely unimaginable and crazy new height.
On the very first test flight day, the military sends over a top-level delegation to watch.
Lang Seung and I stand right there in the command center, closely watching the real-time images transmitted back onto the big screen. Under my remote control, Lang Van #1 looks exactly like a black lightning bolt, violently tearing apart the sky.
It easily shatters right through the sound barrier.
The jet pulls off a series of absolutely wild hyper maneuvers that current fighters simply cannot handle. We're talking the falling leaf cobra maneuver and insanely sharp hairpin turns.
It dances through the sky in a beautiful but completely lethal rhythm. Back inside the command center, pure shock. You can hear a collective sharp intake of breath.
Every single one of those military generals is just staring blankly. Their jaws dropped. You could literally fit a fist in there. Is this even a jet? It looks like an actual UFO right now. Just totally unbelievable. This kind of insane mobility completely turns everything we know about aerial combat completely upside down.
With this beast, our Air Force's power will jump ahead of the entire world by at least 20 years.
The test flight wraps up. Ling Yun #1 lands safely back on the runway, and the whole command center immediately erupts into this massive, thunderous round of applause. Right then and there, the military representative signs off on a massive $1 trillion purchase order, locking in a long-term strategic partnership agreement right on the spot.
Ling Yun Tech just achieved God-tier status after a single run.
At the celebration party, Ye Xiao becomes the absolute center of attention. Countless people walk up with drinks, endless flattery, constant praise. It never stops.
He smiles and deals with every single person, but deep down, he feels this weird, unexplainable sense of emptiness.
His huge revenge is complete. He got the success, the fame, everything he ever wanted. But why doesn't he feel as happy as he imagined? Now, watch this moment. Ye Xiao takes his drink to an empty corner, staring blankly out at the night view. What are you thinking about? Ling Shuang suddenly appears right beside him.
She is wearing a stunning red evening gown today, looking absolutely breathtaking, easily the brightest star in the entire room.
Nothing, he says, shaking his head. You're thinking about Li Ruyan, aren't you? She hits the nail on the head. He just stays completely silent.
Do you regret it? Not regret, he replies, taking a sip of the bitter liquor burning down his throat. It just feels quite meaningless.
He put in so much insane effort just to completely destroy everything she had.
But in the end, he realizes there is no real thrill in revenge. Instead, he just feels like he has become exactly as hateful as she is.
Yes, Yao. Ling Shuang looks at him, her eyes carrying a pretty clear hint of heartbreak. You are not hateful. You are just way too tired.
You poured every single emotion into that revenge. Now that it is finally over, you lost your main goal. So of course, you just feel completely empty inside. This is not your fault. Her words flow through his heart like a slow, warming current. She's right. He really is just incredibly exhausted right now.
For the past 6 months, he has been acting like a tightly coiled spring, never daring to let his guard down even once.
Now that it is all over, he can finally drop every disguise, all his defenses. Ling Shuang, he looks right at her and says seriously, "Thank you."
We are husband and wife. Don't say thank you. She smiles, then suddenly stands on her tiptoes and plants a really soft kiss right on his cheek. The warm feeling brushes past and vanishes. Consider this a reward for the celebration party. After saying that, A rather suspicious pink blush spreads across her cheeks. Then, looking like a startled little deer, she quickly turns around and hurries away.
He just stands there, totally stunned, rubbing the exact spot she just kissed. It almost feels like her warmth and soft scent are still lingering right there. His heart starts racing, completely out of control. That night, he drinks way too much. By the time they finally get back to his and Ling Shuang's place, a luxury penthouse sitting at the very top of Haiqing with a full view of the city's night skyline, he is already pretty heavily drunk by then. Ling Shuang catches his weight, tossing him right down onto the sofa. Drinking this much? Are you completely out of your mind?
She grumbles while walking into the kitchen to pour him some water. He lies there on the sofa, staring up at the gorgeous crystal chandelier, feeling the whole room spinning. The alcohol, numbing his nerves, also massively amplifies all those deep feelings inside his heart. Pure loneliness, complete confusion, and something else he doesn't even want to admit to himself. Ling Shuang comes back, sitting down beside him with a glass. Sit up and drink some water. You'll feel way better. He takes the glass and downs it completely. Fueled by all those drinks, he does something he would absolutely never dare to do while sober. He suddenly grabs her hand. Ling Shuang. Does our prenuptial agreement still actually count? Ling Shuang freezes, immediately catching his drift as her face flushes bright red. What exactly do you mean?
This is where it gets real. What I mean is, looking right into her eyes, he says clearly, I don't want to be partners anymore. I want to be a true husband.
Saying that, he leans down and kisses her lips. Ling Shuang's body stiffens up for just a split second, but she very quickly melts into it.
She doesn't push him away, clumsily returning his kiss instead. This kiss isn't driven by lust at all. It feels more like a pure release, a real confirmation.
They are exactly like two kids stumbling around in the dark for way too long, finally finding each other.
Desperate to draw just a little bit of warmth and comfort from one another. After who knows how long, they finally pull apart, breathing heavily.
The apartment is dead silent, nothing but the sound of their racing heartbeats. Ye Xiao, Ling Shuang's eyes are a little red as she looks at him, her voice carrying some obvious uncertainty. Are you actually being serious right now? Not out of gratitude, not out of sympathy, but completely serious? He cups her face, his thumbs gently stroking her soft skin. I admit that when I first approached you, it really was just for the sake of revenge. Just to use you. But after living together for these past 6 months, I realized that I've somehow actually fallen completely in love with you. I love watching how serious you get when working. I absolutely love hearing you use that bossy tone to claim that I am your man.
I love that cute look of yours, trying so hard to act tough when you're terrified of the thunder. Lang Sung, I'm done living in hatred.
I want to start a brand new life with you as a real married couple. Hearing that, Lang Shuang just couldn't hold her tears back.
This absolute queen, who always keeps up that icy front around others,
is suddenly sobbing in my arms like a little kid. DFTO, you absolute jerk, she mutters, hitting my chest. How long have I waited to hear that?
Truth is, ever since I saw that fireworks display you pulled off, you had my attention.
I admired your sheer talent, but even more, your absolute ruthlessness. I felt like we were exactly the same kind. So when you suggested we get married, even though I mocked you out loud, deep down I was actually thrilled. I really thought this was just a business deal, but I never expected to throw my entire heart into it.
Every single day, I watched you pour your soul into Longvan #1. I felt so proud of you, but also so heartbroken.
I wanted to say I love you so many times, but I didn't dare. I was terrified of being a burden. I was so afraid you'd think I was using my feelings to trap you. Hearing her confess, I completely lose my grip on my emotions.
I pull her tight against my chest. Turns out we were both just tiptoeing around, terrified of breaking this fragile connection. We had somehow become totally essential to each other's lives, without even realizing it.
I'm so sorry I made you wait this long. It's not late, she whispers. She looks up, teary-eyed, but smiling, brighter than ever. As long as it's you in the end, it's perfect. We talked for hours that night. From random childhood stories to our biggest future dreams,
It felt like we were making up for decades of lost time.
We figure out we actually have so much in common. Both love sci-fi movies.
Both listened to classical music and were both obsessed with the vast starry sky. By dawn, we're leaning against each other, watching the first morning light flood the room.
Once Langvan gets fully on track, Lang Sheng murmurs, "Let's go travel the world."
I would love that, I reply. I want to take you to the Arctic for the auroras, Africa for the migrations, the Sahara for stars, and we need lots of kids.
One looking like you and one like me.
Her voice is soft and sleepy, packed with pure happiness. I glance down. She's already asleep against my shoulder, a sweet smile still resting on her lips. I gently press a soft kiss to her forehead.
Right in this moment, my mind is more at peace than ever. The fire of hatred is gone, replaced by something warmer.
It lights up my life and finally gives my future direction.
But honestly, just when you think the happy ending is locked in, that's exactly when a total disaster strikes from the shadows.
The massive success of Langvan #1 caught global attention and definitely sparked some serious panic among certain powerful groups. Especially those Western nations that had basically kept a stranglehold on the aviation industry.
They absolutely refuse to let some Eastern company shatter their 100-year monopoly. A massive conspiracy against Langvan is quietly put into motion.
Phase 1. Public smearing. The Western media kicks off a huge campaign pushing the Langvan threat theory. They falsely accuse us of stealing and copying all our tech. They make these wild, baseless claims that Langvan #1 is a massive security hazard threatening global peace.
Then come the heavy trade sanctions. A massive Western alliance, led by America, officially slaps a total tech blockade onto Langvan. They completely ban their local companies from exporting anything to us, down to a single screw. Under intense pressure, every single Western partner we had unilaterally rips up their contracts. Just like that, Langvan Tech hits an absolute, unprecedented wall.
Our supply chain? Severed. Overseas markets? Slammed shut.
Even our signed military contracts are at huge risk, simply because a few crucial imported parts aren't arriving in time.
The company's stock price takes a nosedive, and pure panic starts spreading both internally and externally. Some of our highest-paid foreign experts are getting shaky, even secretly hitting up headhunters to prepare to jump ship before things get worse. Our massive tech ship feels like it's getting swallowed by this sudden storm. Now watch the pressure absolutely explode.
Inside an emergency board meeting, the tension is suffocating. President Long, President Dieppe, the current situation is absolutely critical.
Our core chips rely entirely on imports from America. Now that they've cut the supply, our production line can maybe survive one more week before it shuts down completely. Our special alloys are imported from Germany too. Without them, the whole strength of Langvan #1 won't pass basic design standards.
The military has already issued an ultimatum. If we can't deliver that first batch of fighters on schedule within 3 months, they are absolutely going to hold us liable for breaking the contract while permanently canceling every single one of our future orders. Every piece of bad news hits the boardroom like a heavy bomb, leaving pure anxiety and complete despair written all over everyone's faces.
Even Lang Sung's expression instantly becomes incredibly grave and serious.
She might be the undisputed queen of the business world, but facing this kind of absolutely ruthless, state-level dimensional strike that completely ignores the consequences, even she is starting to feel quite powerless.
Eventually, every single pair of eyes in the room turns right toward me. I am the absolute soul of Langvan technology, the sole creator of Langvan 1.
If even I end up falling, then Langvan is truly finished for good.
From start to finish, I don't say a single word, just quietly listening while my fingers tap a slow rhythm on the table. Only when everyone finishes speaking does the entire boardroom fall into total, suffocating silence.
Finally, I slowly stand up. Who exactly said we can't survive without them?
My voice isn't loud, but it rings out like thunder in everyone's ears. Director Dieppe, this really isn't the time to act on pure emotion.
One of the older shareholders urgently speaks up. Chips and special materials are our absolute lifeline.
Those are all highly sophisticated core technologies that the West has completely monopolized for several decades now.
Domestically, we simply do not have a single viable alternative on the market.
Exactly, Director Dib. Maybe we should still try to find some way to negotiate with them.
Even if we have to pay a slightly higher price just to restore the supply chain. Negotiate? I let out a cold laugh, cutting him right off. You guys actually think money is what they want? What they really want is our core technology to force us to stay permanently on our knees as their cheap, disposable sweatshop.
I am absolutely never taking that path. My tone is completely resolute. There is zero room for doubt.
The boardroom once again falls into heavy silence. Everyone knows I am telling the brutal truth, but this actual crisis feels like a massive mountain, crushing them until they can barely even breathe.
So what do we do? Just sit and wait to die? Whoever said we have to just wait to die?
I look around the room, letting my gaze sweep across every single person's face. If we don't have chips, we build them ourselves. If we lack materials, we research our own.
Watch this turnaround. Their blockade is only going to make us so much stronger.
I want to show the entire world that using our own minds and bare hands, we can absolutely still stand right at the very peak of the world just the same.
My words hit them like a direct shot of adrenaline straight to the heart. Those previously gloomy and defeated eyes are suddenly flaring up with a bright, intense new light.
Exactly. Why should we be afraid? We currently have the top genius designers in the entire world, along with the most united and incredibly creative team anyone could ever ask for.
We went from absolutely nothing to completely shaking up the world in less than a year. So what kind of challenge could we possibly fail to overcome now?
I completely agree with Director Dieptio's decision.
Lang Seung stands up and walks right over to my side. She grabs my hand, firmly stating that Think Tank Group will spare absolutely no expense, providing unlimited support for Lang Wen's core tech research.
Even if I must sell absolutely everything, I will stand by my husband and win this tough battle.
Her total backing instantly gives both me and every single person in this room an endless surge of pure confidence and power. In the following days, I lead the entire Langvan technology research staff to launch an absolutely unprecedented, all-out assault on this massive technological barrier.
We established 2 core projects. I personally step up to lead the first team, completely taking charge of developing our very own aviation-grade microchips.
I officially name it Kunlun. The other project is led by my most capable assistant, Dr. Lee, who takes full charge of mastering a new ultra-high-strength special alloy material under the top-secret codename Tai-Cern.
This is a brutal race against the clock, and also a massive challenge against our very own limits.
We eat and sleep right inside the lab, getting barely 4 hours of rest a day, failing countless times, and tearing it all down to rebuild over and over. Every single person is enduring an insane amount of physical and mental pressure.
But not a single person even mentions giving up. Because deep down, we are all holding on to one defiant breath.
A breath of pure self-respect, while Lang Seung also mobilizes every last bit of her resources to safely protect the path ahead for all of us.
She fiercely fights off the absolutely enormous pressure from the board and the shareholders, frantically selling off Tinte Group's other business properties just to pour all the capital straight into our ongoing research.
She even sells off absolutely all the real estate and designer goods in her own name, including the luxury apartment where we shared so many beautiful memories. We end up moving right back into Trungbok's incredibly cramped but very cozy little apartment.
That period is absolutely the hardest era Lang Van has ever faced. Yet somehow, it is also the happiest time Lang Seung and I have ever experienced. It really hits you here. We aren't high and mighty leaders anymore. Just a perfectly normal couple working hard together for one shared dream.
During the day, we fight hard on our own separate battlefields. At night, we squeeze into the tiny kitchen to make a super simple dinner together.
After that, we just lean on each other on the couch, talking about the struggles we faced and the tiny progress we made, quietly cheering each other on.
I never imagined this business queen, who used to control the markets, would so willingly wash her hands and cook simple soup just for me.
And I never thought a guy, once filled with so much hatred like me, could become this incredibly soft, yet firmly resolute. All because of one woman's love.
The days keep passing by, wrapped in this unbelievably tense, yet deeply warm atmosphere.
With less than 1 week left before the military's absolute final handover deadline, the pressure is immense. But then,
Almost at the exact same time, both of our project teams finally hit a massive, game-changing breakthrough.
We finally did it.
Boss Dip, we really did it! Boxy Lee bursts into my office, holding up a brilliantly shiny metal plate. So incredibly excited, he's practically stumbling over his own words.
We successfully forged the Tai-Sun alloy. Its sheer strength, flexibility, and heat resistance completely blow the top-tier German equivalents right out of the water.
And almost at that exact second, right on my computer screen, the final simulation test for the Kunlun chip smoothly passes without a single glitch.
Every single performance metric hits the mark, even slightly surpassing the most advanced chips the US has to offer. You can probably imagine the feeling. In seconds, the whole Longvan Tech headquarters transforms into an absolute ocean of pure joy.
Everyone's hugging, crying, laughing, just totally letting out all that heavy stress built up over the past few grueling months.
I push my way through the wildly cheering crowd until I find Lang Sung. She's looking right back at me, tears glistening clearly in her eyes.
I walk right up to her and pull her into a tight hug. We won. 3 days later, Langvan Tech hosts a massive, incredibly grand press conference.
Right in front of the global media, I officially announce our self-developed Kunlun chip and the Tai-Sun alloy.
I also declare that the first batch of Longvan No. 1, equipped with a Chinese heart and skeleton, will be delivered early to the military.
This news drops exactly like a massive nuclear bomb.
It triggers a fierce worldwide shockwave. Those Western countries that once tried to firmly blockade us are left standing in absolute stunned silence.
They just cannot believe we actually smashed through their decades-old technological barriers in only a few short months. It's totally mind-blowing.
Their strict blockade did not crush us at all. Instead, it forced us to forge an infinitely stronger, far more resilient Longvan. After the press conference wraps up, I refuse all interviews. I just grab Lang Soon's hand and we quietly sneak right out through the back door. We walk down to the beach together. The sun sets, casting this beautiful golden afterglow across the rolling ocean waves.
The sea breeze blows through our hair, carrying that familiar salty scent. Dieptio, she says softly, shouldn't we finally go on our honeymoon now?
Lang Seung leans against my shoulder, asking with a sweet smile. You're right, I nod. We can go anywhere you want, as long as you're with me.
I look at her side profile in the sunset, pretty as a painting, and I just can't help but lean down and kiss her lips.
Far off in the distance, a silver-white passenger plane roars as it flies right over our heads, painting a truly elegant arc across the sky.
That's the newest civilian aircraft model from our Longvan. It's going to carry the dreams of countless people, flying them toward a much wider sky.
But as for my dream, it's right here beside me, completely within my reach.
Yeah,